a little bit jumpy, so I'll try not to move too much, but just in case I get carried away and move across the room, you'll be able to see where I'm at. I just have to remember not to put my hands over the sensor because it goes woo. Anyway, my name's Joseph and I'm running for president in 2036. I do these live videos as a chance for people to interact, engage, ask questions, and get honest feedback. There's no script, there's no reason other than I want you to be able to learn more about who I am and why I'm running for president in 2036. I get a lot of questions in the comments about, are you qualified? What makes you the right candidate? Why should I vote for you? And that's why I do these live videos once in a while when I have some extra time, because I do run a business while working full time. And between all of that, I still think it's important to take these moments to share who I am with you, the people of YouTube. My goal with YouTube is to create a, I gotta not move to correct my view in the camera, but my goal with YouTube is to create a platform where we can get a grassroots movement to be able to prove that anybody can start with nobody behind them and make a YouTube channel. Over the last 2 months now, I've had a few people find me. So I do have a family member that watches once in a while. I do have some friends that watch once in a while. But for the most part, I don't share this with my personal social media. I don't share this with anybody from my business. I don't share this with people from work. I simply have been doing this as a chance to show that any American with no background can make a campaign for presidency. It just means going out there and meeting people. These days, social media is one of the best ways to meet people because it's not nearly as connected in the town square. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love my local community. I love going down and talking to people at the bar, at the restaurants, at the coffee shop. There's so many amazing people in my town, but my town's small. So I'm looking forward to being able to go online, reach across America. I know there's plenty of people in other countries that are also catching these videos, and I appreciate you. But for now, my live video goal is to simply be able to share who I am, why I'm running for president in 2036, and why I think any American could do it. But I'm not just any American, I'm not. I've been around the United States my entire life. I've been basically in the same area for the last 40 years. That is a pretty big accomplishment these days, as so many people are moving from city to city, to place, trying to find where they fit in. I think America should be able to be a place where we can fit in by being Americans. We can be a United States. We don't have to keep jumping from city to city to try to find our place in this world or this country. So my goal as an American is not to get rid of all of the amazing things that make us who we are, the cultural things. There's so many different cultures, different neighborhoods, different things are tied in. I want to be able to take all the things that make us uniquely who we are, but help us have an opportunity to reach other people as Americans so that we can be who we are, they can be who they are, but we can both be Americans with one united goal on how we're going to make things better. Happy, happy, happy. I agree. We need to be positive. We need to have a positive America. So thank you for jumping on. Any questions? I'm literally here right now to answer questions. I want to be able to share my thoughts. I want to be able to tell you where I'm coming from so that we can have a positive America. If I'm sweating a little bit, it's because I don't have air conditioning. I know it's around 80 degrees outside right now, but I'm in a cooler area of the United States, so I appreciate that. But it is a little bit warm. Looks like we have Happy Happy Happies joining in. LeBron lovers are joining in. Mariah Paz is joining in. LeBron lovers, how did God help your life? That's a great question. Personally, I was introduced to God at a very young age, and He's walked with me my entire life. I don't understand, honestly, how people can make it in this world without God. I think it's very clear, and again, this may get me not liked by people, but I think it's very clear that there is a creator in our world. So without knowing that, I don't know how you can be found, how you can be grounded. So I am grateful to be in a relationship with the God that I serve. And he helps my life daily. Just the other day, I call these little like God sightings. That's what one of my professors said way back in college. But like there was a day I was just like, you know what, I really want a burrito. And as I was walking through town and stopped to check in with one of my friends that owns a taco truck, they're like, hey, do you want a burrito or a taco? It's on me. And I'm just like, it was amazing people. The little taco truck next to my house is amazing. I would drop their name, but it's a really local place and I'm trying not to get too locked into where we are. But just that little gift, I consider just God showing me how much he cares about me and the things that I care about. So yes, I am a Christian, and I think that having a very grounded faith is a part of being a great human being. But that's something we can talk about anytime. How do you plan smaller farms to help smaller farms in the egg industry? I personally grew up on 18 acres. I grew a 1-acre garden. I'm one of the few people that raise cows, goats, sheep. I rode horses when I was younger. It's really hard to find a place to put them now because I don't live on the farm anymore. But the small farms are something that I'm passionate about. I would love to see a way that we can get rid of some of the stuff that makes it hard for a local small farm to be able to compete because they can't go through all the process of all the testing and legalization. I would like to see a way that we can get to a place where you can know your neighbors, know the local farmers, and be able to buy stuff from the people you know and trust without it being illegal to sell it. I think that's one way we could help the small farms in a local area be able to be part of it. So that's one way that I think we could help the smaller farms be able to compete, because if you can't make money, you can't do it. I know when I was older, I had 5 acres, and I talked to one of the local farm stores. I'm like, what can I grow on my 5 acres that I could actually make money and live off of my property? He's like, the only thing you could grow is pot. And that was right as it was in the barely legal stage. There's a lot of things that we're trying to figure out, and I wasn't gonna go there. I think following the local law is important, and supporting local law enforcement is important. So I didn't personally want to go with that route, but at the same time, it just showed me how hard it is for somebody that has 5 acres to make a living. I know some friends that sell eggs that do okay, but it's hard with a small amount of property to compete with the large farming industry. And the large farming industry has a lot of things that you just can't do with a small farm. So I would love to see some ways to make that work. If you have any ideas, Talus 555, feel free to share those too. I'd love to see people's ideas on how we can make these things happen. See, Maria says, I'm from the Liberty County Police Department. I really need help. I just cashed 3 times and I'm personalized. I'm just in a wheelchair. I am really sorry you're needing help right now. I really hope that you can find the right resources that you need. I know in my state there's a lot of resources, and some states it's a lot different. I'm not sure honestly where Liberty County is. There's a lot of counties in a lot of states. But feel free to reach out to your local help. I know through the police department, they should have access to some first responder help. I personally love our first responders. I volunteered as a firefighter for a while, and through that, I had a situation where I had to seek help, and being able to go to the resources that my chief could provide for me was really helpful. So I'm really a huge fan of making sure our first responders and our local heroes have the resources they need when they have a hard time and they need that extra help. So hopefully your local county has that. If not, continue looking out. Reach out to the federal government. There are programs out there. It just sometimes is a lot of work, and when you're at the point where you really need them, it's hard to find. So that's one thing I would love to see, is making the resources more available for people as they need them, and not having to make it so difficult to find help when you need help, and then make it more difficult to fraudulently get help, because that way the resources we have will stretch further and help more people that really need it. So that's basically all I can really do for you, Maria, right now. I wish there was more that I could, but hopefully when I'm president, we'll make those resources more user-friendly. There's a lot of great technology out there that I think will make things even better and better, and in 11 years, I can only imagine how far we'll come on that. So, let's see, other questions. Who else is on here? Let's see, LeBron lovers subscribed. Thank you so much. Your subscription means so much. As we get to 100,000 and more, we'll be able to really ramp up this campaign. Talus, what is your thoughts on the way livestock are being handled in sales barns around New York and PA? The livestock are put under stress and some almost die once sold. Whew. I have strong feelings about the way that large industry handles animals. I think it's horrible, to be completely honest. I, again, grew up in a small city and we had a local livestock auction, but the local livestock auction was run by local community farmers that cared about animals, and they would take care of them. The ones that people were trying to offload because they were sick, they had vets on standby to take care of the animals. It's nothing like these giant mass farm setups that are going on. Those are a whole different level of scary. I remember once my son was struggling because the livestock, the documentaries and stuff were showing some of the large scale things. And I can't say that that's not horrible. But what I could do is take him to a friend's farm that I think they have closer to about 50 acres and they run dairy cattle. And was able to take him out there and meet the farmer and meet the cows and see how much he loved and cared for his cows, not only because that was literally his paycheck, was those cows being happy and healthy, but also just he had a huge love for animals. And that was able to I was able to show my son that there is a good way to do it, because unfortunately there's also a bad way to do it. And that's why I think figuring out ways to make the local farm industry competitive is so important. Because if we can get the local farmers to be able to be competitive in a local area, they can actually take care of their animals. The animals will thrive better. Even beef cattle that are raised to eat are cared for and loved up until the time they're put down and butchered. I grew up, we raised hogs, we raised cows. I used to ride the bulls. I used to hang out with the steers. We would give them fun names like T-Bone. I think we had Ribeye for a while. But we cared about them. And we knew that they were going to go to be sustenance for our home and our friends, because we would share it with friends and family. But it would just be totally different. So that's my thought on it. The way livestock are being handled in sales barns is really unfortunate. And I think we need to have it more put with people that care about the animals or taking care of the animals. And it's not just a big corporate trying to make money. Because you'll see that with farming, you'll see that with healthcare, you'll see that with so many things. Once it becomes this big corporate, we don't care about the people involved, it's worse and horrible for everyone. Scorpion Games, you made it to a live stream. I so appreciate you. You have been by far one of my biggest supporters this entire time. So thank you for jumping in here with the "That's My President." That's why I wanted to make sure you had the first comment, because you've been consistent from almost day one. I can't remember, I think it was day 3 or 5 that you've started following and subscribing. So thank you so much for jumping on and sharing that. Maria, my friend died because he got shot 5 times and 3 of those bullets went into my chest and 2 of them went into his. Oh my gosh. I am so sorry that you went through that, Maria. That is beyond heartbreaking. I, again, 100% think our first responders are heroes and they need to be protected. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on in my western side of the world that has me a little bit emotional right now about first responders. So I can't really get much more, go much further that direction. What other questions? Let's see, we're about 15 minutes in. We've had some great dialogue. Thank you so much for the questions, everyone. What else is there? What can I answer? What can we talk about? And what are your thoughts? What are some positive things you would like to see in America going forward? I'm personally not tied to a party. Unfortunately, I think our two-party system that we have right now is dangerous. And unless I can get some really clear understanding of the two major parties and why they're not something that's almost working together to have the same outcome. I would love to be able to learn more than I know, but what I know I don't like. So at this point I'm staying independent. I don't want to be connected to any party. Again, once we get to the point where I'm actually putting my name on the ballot, we'll see where we're at. The parties may adjust, they may change, they may be more American focused. And if that's the case, then we may closer choose one. But right now, I'm just not interested in being part of a party. And that's for local everything. So, let's see, we got one person watching at 16 minutes. What else? Who else has questions that they'd like to see? How do you plan to support youth and units in Scouting America, formerly Boy Scouts of America? I am not sure what your question is referring to as far as how to support them. I think having opportunity for young people to be involved in things that help them learn structure, help them learn how to be a great American, and how to get, what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry. How to get structure in their lives is very beneficial. I know for me, I was older when I joined the volunteer fire department, but the things I was able to learn by being part of a team of people focused on making our community safer and helping people in their time of need changed my life and gave me tools that I didn't have prior to joining that. And I think having things like the Boy Scouts were, like the Girl Scouts, like these different groups where from a young age they're learning these skills and learning confidence and learning that they can be prepared to take care of themselves and help others, I think are really important. So I would love to see those kind of things continue. I think we always have to be careful to protect everybody involved, and that goes for a lot of different areas. There needs to be checks and balances. There needs to be ways to have accountability for people in leadership, and that's why I personally think that there should be a lot more care put into who's running for office even. I know when I ran for local government in my city, I was shocked by how few questions there are about who you are before you can be put on a ballot. I mean, yeah, I had to go out and find community members that would sign a petition to be able to run, but it didn't take a whole lot. I think there needs to be a little bit more care about who we are letting even be in a position to be in leadership, because that does matter. One bad leader messes up things for a lot of people and hurts a lot of people. So we need to be very careful about that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've never personally been part of Boy Scouts or the Scouting America groups. I've had some friends that were Eagle Scouts that are amazing people, probably some of the most level-headed, smart, gone into amazing careers. So I think done right, it can be a very, very valuable tool. And I would love to see ways that as a federal government we can support that done correctly and safely for everybody involved. So great question. If there's anything else you want to clarify, feel free to throw it in, Talis. But again, great question. I appreciate you. You're throwing in some really great stuff, and we're having a great conversation. So thank you. Other ideas, thoughts, questions? Looks like we have 5 people on. Welcome to the new people. I'm literally just using my phone for this. I don't have a fancy studio. I don't have a way to know who's watching. So the only way I know is when you make a comment or a question, so please jump in with those. Again, subscribers, anybody that subscribes to my channel, you're the ones that are gonna make this race possible. And the ones that I can see, I'm keeping track of, and I look forward to being able to show when we hit the presidency in 2036 that these are the people that started this grassroots movement, and because of these people is why we're where we're at when we get there. And also because of you people, you are the ones that make it where we're at today. We've got over 100 subscribers, which is amazing for just a random Joseph in a small town USA, but that's where we start. And hopefully soon it'll be 1,000, and after 1,000 we'll have 10,000. Once we hit 10,000, 100,000. And as it continues to grow a movement, we'll be able to say like, hey everybody, pay attention. America wants somebody that's for a united America with positive values, that wants to see positive growth and help all Americans have a positive outcome. What else? Questions, comments? I can go on forever. Anybody, we're still close to around 100, so anybody that sees this, if you go to my Joseph for President TikTok, and I tried to put links, I'm not really good at all the social media stuff, I'm trying to learn, but I tried to put some links to the TikTok. On the TikTok, you can send me a private message, and in the private message, then I can actually see who you are if you don't share who you are when you subscribe. Because a lot of people on YouTube have their identity blocked when they subscribe to somebody. So some of you, I just can't find out who you are, which is good. I like the privacy option, but it also makes it so I can't keep track of everyone, so I would love to. How do I plan to stop farmland from being developed into cities or highways, roadways, housing? Honestly, it's gonna go back to my other answer. If we have the ability for small farmers with 5 to 20 acres to be able to make a living off of their 5 to 20 acres, we will have opportunities for them to want to keep their 5 to 20 acres. When it becomes impossible to make a living on even 500 acres, the farmers that have worked their whole life and have tried to maintain a living at it, their kids grow up and like, why? Why would I waste my life when I can sell this hunk of property for $1 million and go move to a city and live what feels comfortable? So the only way I know of to stop development from taking over the farmland is to make the farmland more valuable than the money you can get from selling it. So that's where I think your whole concept of small farm and all of that is important. I know I have to do for the city that I'm part of, we have to do an urban growth boundary adjustment and look at all the different factors. So we've done a lot of soil studies to make sure any direction we're moving is not valuable farmland, because we are in a local agricultural area and a lot of our land is amazing, and I don't want to see that go under blacktop and be destroyed by a housing development. So I think it's important to be mindful of where we're expanding cities. We do have more people. The country is growing all the time. We do need housing options, but we have to make sure we're putting them in the right spots. I mean, with modern convenience like electricity and air conditioning, which I really should get someday, we have the opportunity to expand into areas that are not farmable. And I think that's where we should be putting cities. That's where we should be putting the giant factories, the industrial areas. We just need to be very cautious of what area we're allowing to let those things grow. They do need to grow. We do need to have growth, but it needs to be a healthy, sustainable growth. And I think we need to fix the highways that are so bogged down we get stuck in traffic all the time, because I'm getting really tired of that. Well, Talis, this has been my longest live ever, and a lot of it I honestly share as you are the reason. Your questions have been amazing. Hopefully my answers have been insightful, and it can be something that people can see that there's a possibility that we can make America positively better, and that we can unite America in a united way. We have about 30 seconds left before I go ahead and end this. Again, thank you to everybody that's been on. I have comments, likes, or at least like interactions in the comments from Happy, LeBron Lovers, Maria Paz, Talis555 has been super engaging. I really appreciate it. LeBron said he subscribed. LeBron Lovers, sorry, said they subscribed. Maria, again, you have such a sad story. I really hope that you can get the help you need because you've been through a really horrible situation. Scorpion Games, always thank you for being such a great supporter. And to everybody that has seen this and may catch this later or snippets of it, I appreciate you and thank you for joining the live. Until next time, this is Joseph for President 2026, and I appreciate your vote. Oh wait, hold on. What do I think about drinking raw milk? In my opinion, the dairy farms can't afford to permit to sell raw milk, and that is killing the dairy farms. What do I think about drinking raw milk? I raised multiple cows that we milked ourselves, and we drank the raw milk. It tasted better, it felt healthier, and it wasn't extremely processed to the point that I'm not sure I like the way it's grown. So my thought on raw milk is it's better all the way around. I know that there are some things that can happen that are dangerous, which is again why I think we need to be able to have local farms so that we know the farmers and we know they're doing the right things for their animals and taking care of them and they're healthy, trustworthy people. But those farmers have to be able to make a living with the property that they have and the animals they have. So I agree. I think that the permitting and the legal issues are what's killing the small farms, especially the small dairy farms. So to throw in that last answer, but I'm gonna go ahead and go because it's hot in here. But thank you again for everybody involved, and Talis, again, thank you for the questions. They've been great. It may come across, but I'm very passionate about small farms and the small farming industry. And I think it's something that we need to take to a federal level because right now it's not getting the attention it needs. And there are so many amazing people, even in my area, that I would love to bring in to help make proper policies to do things properly so that we're safe, healthy, and having a great America. So thank you again, everyone. Until next time, my name's Joseph, and I'm running for president in 2036. Now end it. Where is it at? Is that the button? Yes.